Hello everybody. So my name is Kareem. I'm originally from Egypt and I'm happy to present one of my cultural landmarks of Egypt. This is a meal called Koshary. It's an all vegan dish and it's an amazing option for a vegan. I guarantee this is going to be a steady dish in your vegan recipe book, and it has a lot of moving parts. But I strategically set the order for making all the components. I wouldn't say ingredients because it's basically like different components come together. You're like just putting Legos together to get to the beauty that you can see right now. So please bear with me. This is going to be a kind of a long video. Please bear with me, but I guarantee that you're not going to regret it. Please bear with me and relax and enjoy the next video. Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Kareem, and based on a special request, I'm going to make a very traditional Egyptian recipe today called koshary. As you can see, we're starting by frying some onion rings. Who are a little familiar with this meal, you know that the fried onions are considered the garnish. So it seems a little counterintuitive that we're starting from the end, but believe me, this is strategically planned, and you will know why down the road. So once the onion get to this color, that's where we take it out of the oil. That's exactly crispy and golden. That's what we have. These little elbow pasta, we're gonna boil some. So now you'll know why I started with frying the onions, because I always love to use some of that onion with the rest of the meal. Some of that oil that has the amazing onion flavor. So we added like 2 tablespoons of oil, and this recipe is calling for 1 cup of lentil, and whatever amount of lentil you use a third of it with rice. So this is pearl rice. This is the closest thing to traditional Egyptian rice. I actually buy it from a store here called Winco. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna add the rice to the oil, and then we're gonna make sure that the rice gets a nice sear in the oil. So traditionally, the rice should be added later in the game. But with my experience, I found that a better way to go about it is to sear the rice a little bit in some of the fried onions oil. What that does is that it seals the outer shell of the rice grain itself and makes it really fluffy. So when the rice is seared like that, we start adding the lentil, and we give it just a stir. We're not going to sear the lentils or anything. We just want to stir it to make sure everything is mixed together. And then we're going to add the hot water. Rule of thumb, the water should be like 1.5 inches above the grains level. So now we're going to start adding our seasonings. So we have some, like a teaspoon of salt and dash of cumin, and a dash of coriander. So once it boils like that, we're going to cover it, leave it for like a couple minutes, and then turn down the heat to medium-low and let it simmer. Just very similar to cooking rice. So it took about 20 minutes to simmer it, but now it's ready. Look how beautiful. So hopping on to the next part, we're going to make the sauce, which is a tomato-based sauce, but we use also garlic and vinegar with it, which gives it that very special tangy flavor. So we start by finely dicing 4 cloves of garlic, just like that. We're gonna add 2 tablespoons of the same oil that we used to fry the onions. And then we're gonna start adding the garlic, and then we're gonna fry it a little bit in the oil until it also gets golden color. So once it gets that golden color, we're gonna quench it. So we just quenched it with some white vinegar. And now we're gonna add some tomato paste, just regular tomato paste, any brand should do. And then we're gonna add some hot water, not a lot. And then we wanna make sure that everything is mixed very well. So now we add some salt and pepper, stir, and just boil it for 1 or 2 minutes, and our sauce is ready. So last component, but not least, is a vinaigrette. And that's actually kind of optional, but it's one of my favorites personally. So we're gonna use 1 clove of garlic. So we're gonna dice it really, really finely as we possibly can. So now that we cut it really, really fine, as you can see here, I have this little cute mixing bottle that was actually part of a honey tasting set, but it actually works really well for that purpose because it has the cork that you can use it for shaking, so it's perfect for that purpose, for a vinaigrette. And you know, it's part of the Egyptian spirit. Egyptians are amazing with reusing stuff, so as part of the Egyptian spirit, we're doing that. So we're gonna add the garlic to the bottle. So again, you know, mind the ratio, because like I said, this is just for 2 people. So we're gonna add very little amounts here. Just a little bit of salt, cumin, and a dash of coriander. And then we're gonna pour the spices or the seasoning into the mixing bottle, like that. See what I did there? Very clever, like getting popes into a Volkswagen. So now we're gonna add a little bit of vinegar, hence the name vinaigrette, and some boiling water. I'm gonna put the cork and give it a shake. And that's what our vinaigrette will look like. So now we're gonna start serving, now that we have all the components ready. So, see how fluffy our koshary is? And that's actually one of the big caveats with koshary, is that it, you know, if you don't make it right, it will turn out a little mushy. But with my trick about searing the rice alone first by itself, and then adding the lentils later, that actually is the trick to make it fluffy. So now we have our serving dish. We're gonna put the koshary center plate. We're gonna add our elbow macaroni to the side like that. So next thing is our really nice aromatic tangy sauce. We're gonna add some to the side like that. So now we add the crown jewel, the fried onions. And the very last ingredient here is some garbanzos. Just place them around the onions like that. So let's give it a taste. So now we have the vinaigrette, we're gonna give it a nice shake. And then add some on top. And then actually you can see how it's neatly served, but we're gonna actually mix everything together. That's how you should eat it. So now that we mixed it, you just get a bite of everything. And let's dig in. Bismillah. It never gets old. Tastes amazing every single time. You know, I'm a kind of a carnivore, but this meal, surprisingly, it never gets old for me. I would always go for it. I would never feel the need that I need some meat option next to it. It's very satisfying. You know, obviously you get a lot of protein from the legume, from the lentil. So it's very balanced too. I wouldn't say healthy because it has a lot of starches, but it's definitely not terrible for you. Because at the end of the day, it's all healthy ingredients. So we got garbanzos, the onions, tomato sauce. It's a very well-rounded meal. and it will definitely be a top thrower for you. So I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. And please give me any feedback. Thanks.